Hi everyone, Peter here. Welcome. We share real stories from real people. Let's start with the first story. Am I the asshole for telling my fiancée there will be no wedding if she insists on me inviting my parents? My father abandoned the family and went no contact when I, 35M, was 4. My mother remarried and had 2 kids with my stepfather. My stepfather never treated me badly, but he always made it clear that I was a Dale, not his real name, to him. He wasn't my dad. My mother never tried to mend the relationship and genuinely loved her new family, always seeing me as a burden. That's what I thought, at least until it was confirmed after my freshman year of college when my mother asked me not to come home anymore. I blocked her after that phone call and haven't been in contact with her, my stepfather and half-brother, since then. I still talk to my half-sister, 25F, at her insistence, but that's the only contact I have. It took me a long time to cope with being cast out of the family. I became quite independent and thought I'd live alone until I met my fiancée, 28F, 4 years ago. We've had a wonderful relationship, and her family welcomed me with open arms. She comes from a typical suburban family, and they're great. Over the years, I've shared my issues with my family with her. She's met my sister, and she never asked for more, until we started planning the wedding. When we began discussing who to invite, I talked about my college friends and colleagues, and she kept saying I should invite my parents. At first, I thought she was just testing the waters to see if I wanted to. I told her I wouldn't invite my parents. She said it was okay, but then she brought it up again the next day. I calmly explained how much they had hurt me, how growing up feeling unwanted was, and then having it confirmed at 19 really deteriorated my mental health. That over the years I've realized it's their issue, and if they wanted to resolve it, they could have started, but I've been in contact with my sister, and it's clear they're perfectly happy pretending I don't exist. That sucks, but their problem was they pushed me away. I can't be the one to fix it. I thought it was settled, but she brought it up 2 more times. The last time was last night. We were about to start a date night, and she said, "Are you sure you don't want to invite your parents? I feel like I could reach out to them on your behalf." And I snapped. I told her maybe we should scrap the wedding invitations altogether, because if she can't respect what I've been through, then I don't want to marry her. I then went into our bedroom and fumed for a while. She came in to try to talk to me, and I walked out, grabbed my keys, and left. I came back around 11 p.m. after hanging out with friends and slept on the couch. She went to work without saying a word to me, and I don't know where we stand. Her behavior was unacceptable, but I feel like I may have gone too far. What do you all think? AITAH. Related comment. Commenter: she's already contacted your parents. This particular type of forgetting doesn't start with asking for permission, but begging for forgiveness. OP, I don't think so. I have dinner talk to my sister every Thursday night, and she would hint if my mom and Dale wanted to reconcile. They don't. Honestly, they're happier pretending I don't exist. There's no bot consensus on AITAH, but most comments are NTA. Update: the next day. I'm overwhelmed by the responses. So many thoughtful replies. Thank you everyone for taking the time to answer. I think I'll give an update. My fiancée usually gets home around 5:30 p.m. So after I finish work, I work from home. I waited for her to show up. I got worried when it was 6 and she wasn't home yet, but around 6:15, she showed up with my sister, which was a big surprise. While my sister and I connect every Thursday, we live 45 minutes apart, so her dropping by isn't usual. They both looked really nervous, so I was confused. I asked what was going on, and my sister just broke down crying and apologized. After about 5 minutes of losing it, she started talking about the family. So, apparently, when she told my mom and Dale that I was engaged, it started a rift between them. Not because they care about me, but because my half-brother, 27, still lives at home, is single, and doesn't have a steady job. If you're thinking, oh, they kicked you out at 19 but let him stay when he can rent a car, don't worry. I've already said that bluntly. My mom apparently wanted to do the same to my half-brother, but Dale wouldn't allow it. So they're currently separated, with my mom living with her family and refusing to come back until my half-brother is out of the house. For some reason, despite all logic and reason, my sister thought being invited to my wedding would bring the family back together, since it was my engagement that caused the rift. At this point, I blew up a bit. I told her my engagement had nothing to do with that their bad parenting and poor relationship skills caused it, and not to blame me. She cried harder, and this time I didn't comfort her. My fiancé just sat there the entire time, so while my sister was trying to calm down, I asked my fiancé about this. She started to cry a bit too, but told me that my sister had told her about me regularly reminding the family on Thursday, and that deep down, I wanted to reconcile. I asked how she could believe that when I had made it clear I wasn't in contact with my family and never mentioned wanting to reach out. I told her I had told her everything and would never hold back something like this without talking to her. She had always been my sounding board. When I switched jobs last year, we talked about it every night, and her advice mattered more than anyone else's. She apologized and then wanted to show me her phone, specifically the messages between her and my sister. At this point, my sister got up and asked her not to show me the conversation on her phone. But my fiancé told her that she was trying to salvage her relationship. My sister had just been lying outright about our Thursday conversations, saying that I always talked about wanting to reconcile. I'd never admit it, but I also bore some guilt, and how I really wanted to see them again. Every time I told my fiancé no, she'd text my sister, and my sister would talk about how I couldn't open up because I was ashamed. Just completely wrong. I'd be entirely happy never seeing any of them again. I can't believe my sister saw these. At this point, I asked my half-sister to leave, and Thursdays were canceled. My sister resisted a bit, but I ignored her until she left. She kept saying sorry over and over again, but honestly, I'm done with her. I've blocked her and won't be contacting her for the time being. A complete emotional betrayal of me and my relationships. As for me and my fiancé, I'm still really upset. She went behind my back with my sister. Never asked me about it. Let my sister manipulate her and honestly hurt me. I told her I love her, but my trust is shattered. We agreed to go to couples therapy and see if we could repair the relationship. I hope we can, but I have to say it's a tough one for me. She has a lot of work to do. Related comment. Commenter, holy shit. Your fiancé was being lied to and manipulated just as much as you were. Don't hold this against her if you don't want to be the asshole. Now is the time to come together because she has seen just how shitty they are. Tell her you love her, forgive her, and never believe anything unless it comes out of your mouth again. But that's up to you if you want to throw away the love of a good woman. OP, this is why we're doing couples therapy, not individual therapy. I don't think I'm innocent here. Update 2, 8 days later. A lot has happened, so I'll try to share it all with you. So, after my sister left, I told my fiancé that I love her, but right now, I don't trust her. That I felt she sided with my sister over me. So I continued sleeping on the couch for a few more nights. She's been walking on eggshells around me, and I hate it, but I'm not ready to forgive her yet. Then on Friday night, after hanging out with friends, I came home and laid out on the couch. We had a bit of small talk, but she asked me to come to bed, and I told her I wasn't ready. I woke up to pee at 3 a.m., and she was sleeping on the floor next to me. I don't know exactly why, but it touched me deeply, and I cried a bit. It meant so much to know she wanted to be close to me, even when I was being unloving. It really turned things around for me. I woke up a few hours later, and she was making breakfast for me. A surprise because Saturdays are usually my big breakfast day. We sat and ate, and she kept the small talk going on eggshells. But I decided to tell her a childhood story of mine. I told her how Dale used to make breakfast for the family, but never for me. I was older. So I slept in, and when I got up, there was rarely any breakfast left, and if there was, it was in the fridge with no one to eat with. I told her how much Saturday breakfast with us means to me and how I never really talked about it, and that wasn't fair to her. She looked at me with tear-filled eyes. She apologized again, but I told her I didn't need it. That I had forgiven her, and while I still wanted to do couples therapy, because I thought it would help me share my family issues with her healthfully, I was ready to send out the save the dates. Then I asked her to give me a back massage because the couch is a nightmare to sleep on, and she knew I was serious. I don't like people touching me, except my fiancé, and I hadn't allowed that since the initial incident. I know most of you don't want me to forgive my fiancé, but I love her. And she loves me. She made a big mistake, but she's never gone through anything like what I have. And she shows genuine remorse. As for my sister, my mom reached out through a number I didn't recognize and said I should forgive my sister. I told her to fuck off, and it only confirmed that my sister never really had a relationship with me because if she knew me, she would know that contacting my mom would only make things worse. I then blocked that number. This happened on Thursday night. She tried to come over on Sunday, but my fiancé and I were out. She left a note apologizing, saying she didn't ask my mom to contact me, and she was sorry for doing so. My fiancé doesn't want anything to do with my sister anymore, but left the decision to me. I told her she's my family. So if she doesn't want her there, she won't be there. Definitely a bit spiteful, but she accepted, and said she didn't want her there. We've gotten back to normal. It will still take time, and I think I might try individual therapy, because when I think about everything that happened, I'm not sure the family situation is worse than I've admitted, and it might be time to really deal with it. The save the dates went out yesterday, and things are moving forward. I'm not sure if I'll update again, but thank you all for letting me process and vent. Related comment. Commenter: I'm curious if you sent a save the date to your sister. Sorry if this was addressed and I missed it. OP, we didn't. We just took her off the list. My side of the aisle will be a bit emptier than my fiancé's, haha. But that's okay. She's the family I want. Commenter: I don't understand if Saturday breakfast was so important as a kid. Why didn't you just get up early and eat with the family? OP, clearly, many of you had great relationships with your parents and or stepparents and never faced a Dale rolling his eyes, sighing in frustration, and looking at the other siblings while saying something like, "Looks like Dad ruined the kid time," before. I'm glad you didn't have to face that. But I'm too exhausted to explain and rehash painful memories for public entertainment when I came here for advice and to vent. Not for entertainment. This is the update as a thank you. Wish I hadn't done it. Definitely not updating again.